let me invite on stage our two speakers for the day, Jahabar Sadique of Chai Kings and Gautam Sarogi of Go Colors. Have a seat. So, as you can make out, given the nature of business of these two gentlemen, one is in chai and the other is in very interesting things like leggings, jeggings, chudidars and other kinds of lovely legwear. The topic was deliberately chosen. It says Chai Pe Charcha, bottom-up stories of brand building. And the reason is that we want to learn how to build consumer brands from out of Chennai. That's really the core of today's conversation with these two gentlemen. So how we have gently decided to do this today, this evening, is that each of them will give a 10-12 minute spiel about their company and the origins and how exactly their journey has been so far. And thereafter, I will ask some questions and then we will also throw open the floor for questions from the audience. So if you have any very interesting questions to ask, please note the operative word is questions, not observations, not comments, not dialogues, not monologues, etc. It's the operative word is questions, clarifications, etc. Please keep those questions ready. Now, just to set the context for this evening, let me start off with the bottom-up man, which is Mr. Gautam Sarogi. And I'll introduce him first because, normally when there's a lady, they say ladies first. In this case, age before beauty. So people talked about it. When Anthony introduced me, he said 30 years experience. The 30 is Gautam's age. So he's a young chap, brimming with enthusiasm entrepreneur who, along with his father, decided some time back that look, India is full of branded upper wear, the top wear, garments for women. But there's nothing which is for the bottom part. There was also people like jockey, etc. for the inner wear, but there's really nobody looking at the bottom part. It is completely organized. I'll let him say the story because it's important that he tells the story from, you can hear it from the horse's mouth and more. But that's the origin of how they stumbled upon this opportunity. In terms of background, he's a BCom from Loyola College, and then he did his one-year diploma from LIBA in marketing management and general management. But he also has 10 plus years experience, like a good Marwadi. No communal or community or ethnic offense out here. But I always keep telling people, being a good, son of a bureaucrat, when I was learning ABC, AAEE, these mercantile communities, they are learning 10 pies, 20 pies, 50 pies. So by the time I become very familiar with language, they are familiar with the language of money. And that's why even today, if you really look at the funding in startups, especially consumer startups, it's no surprise that bulk of the startups are founded by such communities. You take e-commerce startups, 4 out of 5 of them are run by the mercantile communities. Go and check it out. It's very interesting, but it's an interesting but very fascinating facet. So that's Gautam for you. Now what's very interesting, I must tell you this, that in the short span of 7 odd years, after being in exports of knitwear and all through Meridian Apparels in Tirupur, in a short span of just about 7 years, we have a company from out of Chennai which is the market leader in all this legwear for women. And this year, Gautam tells me, the company will touch a turnover of 300 crores. Last year, Jan 2018, they raised roughly about $15 odd million from ICICI Ventures through a Thai member company, which is Spark Ventures. That's roughly about 100 crores at a valuation of 725 crores. And that was roughly about 4 odd times their then revenue last year was roughly about 187 crores or something is the number that I have. Now what is interesting is that the previous fundraise happened in December 2014. That's just 3 years before that. And that happened at 1/4 the valuation. Okay, the 180 odd crores the valuation, and Sequoia came in at that time. So what you are seeing, ladies and gentlemen, is a company which in a short span of 7 odd years has touched a turnover of 300 odd crores, has an established valuation on last year's 187 crore revenue of about 725 crores. And the best part is this company also makes profits. It's not just EBITDA positive, it's also PAT positive. I looked at the ROC numbers. So, which is damn good news, because many of us, when we see especially the tech world, we are so used to companies spending money and looking at CAC, customer acquisition cost, LTV, GMV, all nice words come to us, all what are called TLAs, 3-letter acronyms. Okay. Basically to confuse us in many ways, to say, boss, at the end of the day, is there money being made? This is why I like mercantile communities many times. At the end of the day, the Patta system, which is so strongly built, says free cash flow kitna hai. At the end of the day, is there a liquid flow in the company? Okay, rokada kind of thing. So that is very core to it, and that's what Gautam is going to tell us how he built this. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is Sadique, who represents both himself and his partner Balaji. Disclosure, he got invested just a few months ago in August 2018 from the Chennai Angels, of which I am a part. And again, further disclosure, I am also an investor in this company. But I promise both of them there will be no favoritism today. So anyway, so coming to Sadique, what I like about these two entrepreneurs, I'll come to at the end of it, is Sadique, after working as a software guy, engineering guy, he was from RMK Engineering College. He worked as a systems engineer in companies like Brilliant Systems, Brigade Corporation, Sutherland Global, and finally ended his corporate career when he was in Symantec Corporation. After that, he thought this is like boring, How much can I keep doing the same old thing every day? And he started becoming a franchise owner of things like Green Trends, Subway, some pizza kind of company, plus Tony and Guy. Now, all this gave him a fairly good idea of what doesn't work, especially in the franchise business, etc. So, pretty interesting learnings. So, we are going to hear from him how that triggered the thought of Chai Kings. Now, what is very interesting for me among these two gentlemen is the following. Both are consumer brands from out of Chennai. The difference is this is just a more recent entrant, that's a little more older entrant, so that's Series B funding, this is only angel funding, so the perspectives will be kind of different, but you will get a sense of how companies kind of build a brand, etc. Both are very retail frontage, oriented. Both have their own outlets, 200 outlets in the case of 220, I think in the case of 350 now, the last Economic Times did not give me the updated figure. 350 outlets owned, I think 550 plus in large format and 2000 plus in other kinds of retail outlets in 100 plus locations or cities all across India. So that's one kind of operation. Whereas this is right now one city, but again retail format. Today, despite it has only 14 outlets open in the city. 2 more are going to open day after tomorrow. But the actual recall of Chai Kings is far bigger than these 14 outlets. A lot of people seem to hear of Chai Kings even before, without realizing it's only 14 outlets old. And the best part is they've already touched a monthly revenue rate of about 1 crore a month across these 14 outlets, which is a pretty good run rate for a fairly new company. So what we're going to hear from these two gentlemen, an early stage invested company and a later stage company, Series B, is the following. One, their own story. Thereafter, the process of creating, building and maintaining a brand and also having fantastic customer engagement. So to kickstart, may I request Jahabar Sadique, the CEO of Chai Kings, to give his view on Chai Kings. Over to you.
Chandu has covered almost everything about what we've done so far. And I'll tell you about what we are before I start about the brand. Me and partner Balaji, we almost kind of have the same profile. We were both in IT years and then moved on to IT. I moved on to Symantec and he moved on to Synex. We were working for about 12 years before we decided that we not work for someone and start our own. We want to do something. We just quit our jobs and we said we'll do something, whatever comes across. We did a whole lot of things like chemical trading, corrugated boxes trading, medical transcription, digital marketing, Greeton, Subway, Tony and Guy, Cheesy Pizza, all of that. All of this happened in the span of about 3 years. We kind of got to know almost about how to build a brand, how to market, what to do and what not to do, how a franchise behaves, how a franchisor behaves, and all of that. Then we decided we'll do a food brand of our own. So we decided we'll do a food brand, and then we didn't know what to do. So we had ample time to travel across India, Dubai, everywhere we traveled. We had time, we had a little bit of money as well. So we kind of traveled, figured out food is the right thing to do. We wanted to do a non-veg brand initially. Kind of did the blueprint and all of that, then figured out that is not the right thing to go about in Chennai. And we figured out coffee is the right thing to do. We again did the complete blueprint of what coffee is, how to do it and all of that. And throughout the entire discussion we took a lot of chai breaks in between. That's the trigger point. That's when we decided ditch coffee and do chai. That is about it. After that we took about a year to finalize complete the brand proposition, the value that we bring to the table and all of that. And we opened the company in July 2016. First outlet came up in 2016 October. We did about 4 outlets in the first year. Second outlet we only had about 3. We were also actively pursuing funds trying to raise funds. We were talking with Chennai Angels for a long time. We were talking from November 2017, but then it only materialized in August 2018. So we had a lot of gap in between our outlets. Once we got the funds, we've added about another 8 outlets now. So we are 14. We are adding 2 more in a couple of days. And we have another 6 more in the pipeline. In terms of revenue, like Chandu said, we are doing 1 crore now per month. We initially, first year we did about 24 lakhs. Then the second year it was slow again, we did about 2.3, and this year we're going to touch about 7.5. That's about in terms of revenue. In terms of brand recall, I think we have a fairly good brand recall across Chennai, partly due to the outlets that we have in prominent places, as well as Swiggy, Uber and all of them deliver about 6 to 8 kilometers from our outlet. So we cover almost 70% of Chennai right now. That is about it. We see a good future for chai in Chennai and around Chennai, as well as Tier 2 and other states as well. We have good partnerships with Swiggy, Zomato and all of them who want to take us to the other states right now. We are kind of holding out on that. We want to establish here more before we go to the other states.
Hi everyone. I think Chandu sir has given a very big description about what we do. I don't know what value I'm going to add. So I'll just tell you things what he's not said to make it a little more interesting. So I'm born and brought up in Chennai. I did my BCom in Loyola College, graduated in 2009, joined my dad and uncle's business as a trainee, was frequenting to Tirupur every week for 4 days. I didn't know what I was doing in Tirupur. It was somewhere in the middle of nowhere, to be very honest. For 2 years I worked in my uncle's and father's company by the name of Meridian Apparels. And the 2 years was very tough. Not from a city perspective, but even from a business perspective, because when I entered business, I think we were seeing the lowest point at which export business could go to. So I saw the really bad times in business when I joined. And somewhere in the middle of 2010, as a family, we decided what to do next. I mean, we have to diversify and do something so that our businesses continue. So we thought of, we had the garment manufacturing capability, so we thought, why not do something in retail? And so one of my father's friends in Bombay, he had a retail brand by the name of 109 Degrees F. They went to women's western wear, women's fashion, I would rather call it. And he said, don't get into fashion. It's a very tough business to be in. There's a lot of design challenges you have, and there's a lot of inventory risk. So we wanted to do something in core where, because we were experimenting, we didn't know how long this would go. We chose a product which, if at the end of 1 year we felt would not work, it would be easy to exit. So we thought, okay, ladies leggings is the best product to choose. If it does not work, we'll just sell it to a wholesaler and exit the business. without any capital loss. So that was the mindset of choosing this product. It was not that we identified a gap. We weren't that smart, to be very honest. We were just, by luck, happened to be there. By luck, due to some financial issues, saying that, easy to exit, let's choose this product, we happened to start it. So it was no genius mind behind of we choosing this product. And so 2010 we started with this product. We supplied to distributors across the country. We lost a lot of money. Distributors, we supplied, they don't pay us, we lost a lot of money. We lost about close to 80-90 lakhs in the first 4 months. And then we thought whether we should continue this or not. Then one opportunity we got, we set up a small kiosk in Express Avenue, Chennai. April 2nd, 2011, we first set up our first kiosk in Express Avenue, Chennai, and which did really wonders. We didn't know whether we could sell bottom wear out of a kiosk. No one had done it before. No one had set apparels in a kiosk. So we started, it worked very well for us. So we added 1, 2, 3, 4, and we added about 60 kiosks in the span of about 3 years. And in 2000, so to grow the business, we needed capital. So we went through an investment banker. We raised about $10 million from Sequoia Capital. That $10 million really helped us grow the business. The first fundraise, we made a lot of mistakes. We went to markets where we weren't ready for. We opened in Dubai, didn't do well for us. We went in parts of the country where we didn't have to go to. First, we had to consolidate. Consolidation is the only way a brand can grow in India. So we raised money. We saw that the kiosks have limitations. Then as our products were growing, our kiosk sales were not growing, because at the end of the day, for a legging you don't need a trial room, but for all the other products you do need. So we opened a store. The store format really clicked for us, and slowly we started opening stores, and we converted all our kiosks into stores. So today we have about 350 stores in the country, and in Chennai we have about 30 stores. And apart from our own stores, we are present across all the large format stores. We are present across 450 Reliance stores. We are present across all the Future Group stores, all the Shopper Stop stores, across all the large format stores.
All the big guys who are in consumer brands, they all ran away from Chennai. Hyundai sent its marketing department out of Chennai. Even Hindustan Lever, Modern Retail went out of Chennai. So many other brands ran out of Chennai. What made you guys, apart from the fact that you had probably Tina factor, which is that you were born and brought up in Chennai, what made you guys think that you can actually do a consumer brand from out of Chennai? I'll start with you, Gautam.
See, it's a very interesting question, and when I go around India, I think most people ask me and they get confused whether I'm from Chennai or not. So I think it's very much possible to open a consumer brand out of Chennai. It's just Chennai has certain capabilities and certain capabilities Chennai don't. So I think the kind of product range we are in, Chennai is very capable. So when it comes to certain fashion factors in apparels, which are more Bombay and Delhi centric. So to run a fashion brand, high-end fashion, western wear brand out of Chennai is a little bit of a challenge. It's not impossible, because there are many designers which are coming out of Chennai, but it's a little bit of a challenge. But it's all very product centric driven. And Chennai is a great market. It's one of the best retail markets in India, to be very, very honest. I think Chennai is to a very, very large extent underestimated.
So can you just give some contours when you say it's a great retail market? What do you exactly mean by that?
People are really rich in Chennai, and it's very
Everybody open up your purses.
So I think a lot of people from outside Chennai kind of underestimate the buying power of Chennai. I think Chennai has been a very smart buyer from the perspective of what to buy and what not to buy. And I think there are many concepts in Chennai which do extremely well. Your Louis Vuittons or your Pradas of the world might not do really well, but your other from a consumer perspective, if you have good quality at affordable prices, I think Chennai is a fantastic one.
Okay, just to take your product category, you talked about it. What is fascinating is actually took first two dimensions. Essentially, you took colors and you took sizes. And then you said, I do the best in knitwear. Because knitwear was pretty good for the top, but not for the leggings part of it. The leggings used to open and the stitching used to come off. Ladies had lots of embarrassing issues. You kind of addressed first the size and color, and you got it standardized very well. Now, is it because of the fact that you could standardize with your blouse piece centers also to mirror something similar in your business? Your blouse piece centers and blouse matching centers, right? So was it because of such concept that already existed and this was little more standardized that it worked very well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we were actually a good replacement for the matching centers. You know, so women found it easy. Even today, women bring their kurtas to our stores and they match the product. So our concept is actually replace the matching center concept. And the matching center concept was is prevalent in every city. Whether if you take Bangalore or Bombay, because India is a two-piece market. It's not a one-piece sari market anymore. So it's a two-piece market. So when there's a two-piece market, there is a matching angle. And topwear brands have only products relevant to what top they want to keep. For example, if you take a Biba is a 100% ethnic brand. So Biba will keep only ethnic bottoms in only those limited number of colors. They will not keep western bottoms and they will not keep fusion bottoms. So in our case, we are not ethnic. We are ethnic, we are fusion and we are western. So lady brings an ethnic top inside our stores and mix and matches with a western bottom or a fusion bottom. She not necessarily have to buy the ethnic bottom which used to happen earlier.
Okay, now I'll just continue with him for a couple of minutes, okay? I mean, this is such a lady type of, garment. How did VCs first understand this? Yeah? Because almost all VCs are men. Did they have to go consult their wives and their daughters and all and say, okay, Gautam, I think we have something here?
So I think that's why there are 2 women investors on our board.
Oh.
So I think when we met the investors, they brought their women partners along for them to easily able to relate to the product. So that I think kind of helped.
Okay. Then you added a third dimension, right? After size and color, you added the issue of the varieties. Because you were just a leggings company, now you kind of a whole range of stuff. How did that happen?
So we started with leggings and it really worked wonders for us. We started with leggings and chudidars and then we introduced jeggings. When we introduced jegging, it did really well.
I told both Gautam and Sadiq, please show a few visuals.
Exactly.
Because then people get an idea of the store frontage and how, for example, I want to later on go to him on inventory, which I'll come to a little later, and how they managed to compress in some way inventory and therefore stock a lot more. I'll come to that a little later. Okay, now let me throw the thing on to you, the question to you. How come you said chai? Because you had too many tea breaks while figuring out whether you should have non-veg or whether you should have coffee outlets or whatever else. But how did you decide that this is the format that you should have, that this is the kind of name you should have, etc., etc.?
See, once we figured out we're going to do chai, we had to figure out what kind of brand that we are coming up with, right? That involves the price point, that involves the the range of chais that we'll give and all of that. We had to travel a lot. There are a lot of brands in North. There are a lot of brands abroad. We went to Dubai to taste Philly's chai. So we figured out what will work. We always knew Chennai is a good market. Don't ask me the economics behind it, but I clearly understood Chennai is happening. We had too many retail options. We have green trends, essentials, and all of that. We always knew if it is in the right spot, business will thrive. Meaning it has always been thriving. So we figured out we'll have to get the right product across here so that it will work. Once we figured out what are the available markets available in Chennai, what are the options that are available, we came across a 20 rupee option. We also have the treat trails kind of option where you give 100 varieties of chai at $100. There is a chayos variety which is at about $50. So we figured out what will work in Chennai. Chennai people have money, they are smart, they are conservative, so we have to give them the right option. So we figured out we'll do a 20 rupee chai, we'll give them the value for 20, quality at 20, and that's how we figured out chai, and that's how we came up with this concept. Once we figured out the concept, the brand name, the logo, the brand that we wanted to make it like the brand name should tell anybody that what the product is all about. We want to go anything like a fancy, like similar like a Philly's cafe or a Chayos. The name should reflect what the brand is or what the product. That is what we figured out, that we should keep something with chai. Even before we kept chai, we were contemplating if we should do tea kings or chai king. Will people understand if it is chai is kind of a Hindi word? People being all Tamilians here, who majority doesn't understand Hindi. We were not sure that if we should do tea or chai. we kind of thought chai is kind of slightly hip compared to tea, and we did the first outlet, and nobody walked in. We were thinking like, did we do a mistake here, right? But then that's how we started. Then people slowly started understanding chai things is a chai shop, which is not a fancy, which is a 20. It took time for people to understand and realize that it is a chai shop where people can walk in. That was the initial stages.
Okay, now, one of the key things in a tea kada, because Chennai has the ubiquitous, Nair tea kada. I have no connection with any of them. But lots of these tea kades all over the place. How did you say that, look, I will be a superior tea kada? And how did you decide on the SKU mix and all that,
That's again, yeah. Majority of the North Indian brands who have good coverage across North India, they were scared of the Chennai tea kades, right? We have about 15,000 tea shops in Chennai.
15,000?
15,000 tea shops in Chennai. This was 2016 October when we launched. So, being in Chennai, we know what they lack, right? Meaning they lack quality, they lack hygiene. We've not seen even a single woman in a tea shop, right? So that is a big, huge gap. So we thought that is the right way to go about it, and we went across and did the format. Once we did the format, the SKU is all a mix of, we wanted to give variety, at the same time we don't want to overflip the menu. We wanted to give variety, at the same time we have to keep it simple for us to prepare it. That's the kind of mix we thought how much time we can spend in preparing tea and giving it to the customer. So how much time a customer can wait, how much time we can accommodate, how many customers in the shop, and what would be the wait time for each of the customers. So all of that put together, we came up with a menu, and if we don't have many varieties, we have about 12, 13 varieties right now. That's kind of, the major sellers are about only 3. The rest are all like add-ons for people to just try it out, taste it, and they feel bored of the famous options.
Okay, now, I'll just take both of you the same question. For both of you, the store itself has become the biggest ambassador in some sense, especially in the initial days for you, and for him it's still the initial days of the brand. In these days of online particularly, how important is this offline element and the importance of having your own store? Why did you feel the necessity to have control over your own outlet? Retail space is so expensive, so difficult to get. What was the thought process behind this?
See, from an apparel perspective, apparel is always going to be an offline in India. It's always going to be offline in India. It's not like the US where online will take over offline. India is a very, very different market. India will always be an offline market as far as apparel is concerned.
Why is that?
I think the culture in India is to, take your families, go to shopping malls. It's entertainment. And the same culture is not there. India culturally is very different. So people want to get out with their family, take them to Fun City and Express, and they go to a mall, they end up shopping. It's a combination of many things. They go for a movie. So India has a very family culture which is not present in the US. So from that perspective, apparel is always going to be offline. I'm not saying that it won't sell online, but offline will never get threatened by online. Online is still a very discounted market. See, for a brand like us, we are actually not a very big brand when you compare to brands like Jockey. Jockey is a 2,000 crore company today in terms of revenue. And Jockey's revenue from online is about 2 or 3%. That's it.
Oh.
Because Jockey does not discount. So the online market is actually a very, very discount driven market. So if you're not discounting, offline is always going to be the primary channel.
So let me get this straight, because this is the big argument that we have, especially among the investing community and even among some of the other entrepreneurs, that online is surviving today, especially consumer internet is online, because of discounting, and that if you remove discounting, a big chunk of online sales will go. What's your take on it?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of customers buy for convenience. I buy all my clothes online, but not too many like me are there. A very small percentage of India's population buys online for convenience. Majority of the population goes online only for deals.
Okay. Now coming back to the core question, which is, why did you decide to have your own outlets? I know you had a bad experience with the distributors. How did this kiosk experiment in EA transform into this 350 outlets today, and how big a role did that play?
I think the kiosk what we opened in Express Avenue was, I think, one of the biggest success breaks for us, without any doubt. I mean, if we wouldn't have opened the outlet, we would probably shut Gokulas before it could even have started, and that kiosk actually gave us the name Gokulas. We were actually, when we started the brand, the name of the brand was Go Leggy. Very few people will actually know about it, and we had placed that Go Leggy product in a kiosk called Go Colors in Express Avenue. And to our surprise, all our customers started recalling us by Go Colors and not by Go Leggy. So I was talking to my dad, I said, let's change the name to Go Colors. That's by fluke, we just named that kiosk as Go Colors, and everyone started recalling us by Go Colors. So the actual word Go Colors came from that first kiosk.
Something like Google becoming Google. Just because the investors spelled it wrong.
So I think when we did that kiosk and the kiosk worked very successfully for us, one thing I was very clear: if you want to build a consumer brand, and especially apparel brand in India, the only way to do it are the 3-letter words: is exclusive brand
EBO.
EBO. There is no other way to build an apparel brand in India today. And EBO is a two-edged sword. If it works for you, it will do wonders, and if it does not work for you, it will have the worst loss you can ever imagine. So I faced both. In India, it's worked really well for us, so we're very happy. In Dubai, it really shattered us. So I've seen both ends.
Okay, just because for a lot of people, Main Street or High Street, the rents can be like 150, 250 rupees per square foot minimum in a place like Chennai. So even if you have something like a 300 square foot small little outlet, like the one you have on Radhakrishna Sale or something, you are now talking about close to 75 to 1 lakh as just your rent, plus air conditioning, plus deposit. So how does the unit economics work really? If you can just explain to the audience, because that's critical for a startup.
There's no doubt about it. So I think one of the most important things in exclusive brand outlet is the frequency of buying. So today I would never open an exclusive brand outlet where a consumer is going to come once in 6 months and buy. Like I would never open a menswear store because we don't go to shop. So we don't shop, the sale does not happen. So your per square feet sales will not. The sale will only come when there's a frequency of buying. So because of the nature of a product, is that a lady keeps coming back in 2-3 months to keep buying bottoms. She wants to buy different colors for the same top. So the frequency of buying happens. That's how an EBO works for us.
Okay, now as opposed to where people come every 2-3 months, yours is like 2-3 times a day.
It's about 2.5.
Yeah, so I'm quite there on this thing. So how did for you, like for him also, you have these exclusive brand outlets which are the cornerstone of his visibility of the brand and building a kind of a name for his company. Why did you guys, again go the same route? When you had the franchise option also as one viable option. But what exactly was the thought process behind the format, the size, and the unit economics? If you can just walk us through it, it will be great.
Initially, when we came up with the first store, we didn't rule out the franchise option at all. We didn't even think that far ahead. We wanted to do an outlet and see how everything works out. Right? We had a different plan and things panned out differently, meaning in a positive way. But then things were completely different to what we planned earlier. We took up a very small kiosk on the main road in Kilpauk. That was something like the owner was not willing to give it to us. He looked at us, we coming in a car and telling him that we're opening a tea shop. He said, no, this is not happening. You guys want to try out something and I'm not going to rent out the place. That kind of an owner he was. We finally convinced him that we're running multiple businesses and we want to take it and there's going to be a big company in 5 years. All of that we had to sell it to him and we took the place. We took it for about 30,000 rent. Nothing happened for first 2 months. There was literally no business at all because of the location. People were able to recall what the brand is. They were able to recall there is a Chai King's outlet on the main road, but many of them were not able to stop and try. Didn't want to stop and try because they were looking at the shop and they're just passing by. It was right on the main road. Whoever goes to Central will not miss it. It was, in a way, the brand was getting not getting popular, but people are noticing it. But no sales were happening. We were doing about 2,000 a day, 2,500 a day for the first 2-3 months. And then we came up with 2 more outlets, one in Anna Nagar and one in Mount Road, both again at very prominent places. Same struggle with the landlord, they were not willing to give out the place, they were scared that close it down in 3 months or 6 months. So we kind of convinced them with the background, what we are, what we did, and all of that. We had to pay a little high deposits initially, and we kind of took 2 outlets. We did one more in T Nagar, that is also on Usman Road. All of this kind of gave a good brand recall to the customer. People are able to recollect. Whoever is in Ananagar had to pass through T Nagar. Right? People are able to see multiple stores, Ananagar, T Nagar, all of them on the main road. People are able to recall. Then slowly things started increasing. Then people are able to recall what the brand is, what price point we sell. And that was the right time when online also started booming up. Initially, when we were doing, I just give the percentage initially, we were about 90% of the sales happened in walk-in sale and about 10% was online. We have a thermo flask, which is a throwaway flask that we have, so we do about 10%. The 10% of sales happen through online. Right now the number is completely different. We do about 55% online and 45% walk-in. The complete dynamics of the business have changed, but still it is on a positive side. Swiggy, Uber and all bring huge business to us with their own cash burn. So that is on the positive side, but unlike Gautam, the entire shift is towards online. Is it good for the business or bad for the business? Right now, nobody can say, but right now it is thriving.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to ask you also was what prompted, since you said you had a different idea, and what prompted, this is already, when you try to look for funding, there were already many people who had got funded. Chai Point had already raised by the time in Series C, and Chai was already on Series B, and then there were a few other guys, including fellows who were having specialty teas and all that. What made you then look for funding, and say that, look, this is the way to go?
See, once the brand clicked, we were about with 4 outlets, we knew the brand is clicking, right? People are liking the product, people are, we were having frequent walk-ins, so we were sure that we will do well, meaning irrespective of whether we go the funding route or the franchise route, we were sure that we will do well. We just have to get the basics right and do it the right way. Because of our previous experience in franchising and food being it's the most brutal business in retail, plus most refrigerable business is food. So we thought the more the franchise have control over the business, meaning at a very early stage for us, it might not work well for us. That's why we thought we'll stop the franchise, we'll completely hold out on the franchise route and do the funding route. But we were not very sure how funding was. We don't even know how funding worked at that point of time. There are only 3 companies which had got funding in Chai Point, Chai was on Chai Tala. Chai Tala is gone now, but only 3 companies. So we were sure that if we can kind of hit the right numbers, have a good brand recall in Chennai, we thought some people will definitely come forward to invest in the company. So we were also contemplating franchising at that point. If funding didn't work, we'll go try the franchise route in a slightly different model. Luckily, funding happened.
Okay, now you didn't still tell us, how this unit economics works in your case, because how do you say that I must have these many guys coming? How do you know which guys are coming back 2.5 times a day? They're coming 2.5 times, but which guys are coming back? Who's today owning the customer? Because 55% is online, and somebody like Swiggy does not share with you customer data. Okay. I don't know how it is for you with Amazon and Flipkart. So you don't know who the customer is. How exactly do you build that, get ownership of the customer?
We don't have ownership of Swiggy customers, but then the customers are the same. Like online is purely a discount-driven market, or you have to promote it very hard on the online stuff. We don't have much competition in Chennai right now. There are small players here and there in Chennai who doesn't have a good online presence like we do. So we don't really have that competition online, and we are not spending on the promotion in online right now. So depending upon who's burning more, either it's Swiggy or Uber or Zomato, whoever is burning more, the customers figure out that and we go to them. We get the customer details from Zomato, Foodpanda and Uber. Only Swiggy doesn't get. So these are the same customers who go to the other platforms. Swiggy doesn't own any customer. They don't have any. There is no brand loyalty at all in terms of the online partners. Swiggy doesn't have any brand loyalty higher than Uber. Only because of the promotions and the burn they do, they attract the customers. Swiggy is burning in more right now. Uber and Zomato are doing less, so they have lesser share right now. If Uber does more, Uber gets the higher market share. So we kind of own the customer, we have the customer data, but the customer's going to Swiggy for us. They're not going to Swiggy and then choosing us.
Is that true for all of you here? Whoever is going through Swiggy, Uber Eats, Zomato, Food Panda, all of you just go to whoever gives you the best deal at that time? Yes or no?
Yeah, we usually choose what is the brand you want to select, only then get it.
And then the discounting. So for you, how does it work? Online is nothing, or
Online is there. I mean, our eventual idea is to make 10% of our business online, but it's never going to be the primary channel. The primary channel is 90% is always going to be offline, because the touch and feel factor. How for a lady to buy a bottom, she needs to see the color in real to understand whether it is what she wants.
thank God your customer is a lady. In some sense. In your case, you said, lady never goes into the tea shop. Has the profile of customers visiting the tea shop changed because you have changed the way tea is being dispensed and sold?
See, absolutely, we didn't even know that women love tea, right? We have so many women customers who walk in to have plain dumb tea, masala tea, and ginger tea. We always thought initially people would come, women would come in, or children would come in, they'll have iced tea or shake. That's why we introduced iced tea and shakes there. But then we have a lot of women, majority of the women customers take masala chai and ginger chai. So it's completely different here.
And one thing that you introduced which was not too popular is the Sulaimani.
Why do you say that? I think
Yes, but it's turned out to be a big success.
That's
I don't know how many of you have had the Sulaimani, but it's becoming an increasingly popular type of tea.
I'll tell you the story behind it. Sulaimani is actually the black chai, right? Without anything, very plain black chai is called Sulaimani. We went to Dubai, we had a Sulaimani. We asked for Sulaimani, they gave a black chai. I don't like it. So we figured out Sulaimani is black. We came back here, we wanted to try something in black. We got two options, ginger lemon and lemon. We wanted a third option. So we thought we'll mix some masalas and do a black. Then we wanted to name it. We said we'll call it Sulaimani. Right? So Sulaimani is not the one that we said. As we didn't know what to name it, we called it Sulaimani. Everybody here is named it Sulaimani now. Sulaimani is kind of become black tea with spices called Sulaimana, which is not the right thing. So it's a very popular drink right now. To the extent that Chai Point has copied the same recipe and named it Sulaimani. So that's the impact it has got on right now.
Now, Gautam, after you did your first set of stores, after you cracked the first round of funding, where did you really feel that you had to spend your time and energy? Was it more at the back end, trying to get all the inventory, the supply chain sorted, or did you have that under control, or was it more in terms of front end, or was it more in terms of talent? What exactly did you figure out was important?
See, without a strong back end, you can't make a front end. So I think 50% of the time goes in back end, 50% of the time goes in front end. You need to maintain the perfect balance. See, in a retail business, for people who understand finance, in a retail business, it's a balance sheet business and not a P&L business, and that's what we use as a thumb rule.
Can you just elaborate on that?
So the reason I said it's a balance sheet business and not a P&L business is because you're making your inventory ahead of time, you can overstock, and that overstock inventory can kill your business. You will show profit in your books, but you will not have enough money to run the business because your entire capital is in the form of inventory. So this entire balance of maintaining a good working capital days in your balance sheet is the most important thing in our business. So that an investor teaches you. So what you don't realize before an investor coming in is where you're burning your cash. The minute the investor comes in, all those things come together.
So, one of the things I was told is that you paid a lot of attention to this supply chain and the inventory management.
Yeah.
Both at the front end, both at the back end especially, to make sure the supply chain, the whole time is reduced, as also in terms of stocking the maximum, because ladies want variety, or at least the illusion of variety, before they make a choice.
We didn't stock the maximum. I think even now, if you ask most of our customers, they'll complain that many times they don't find the color they want.
Mera wala cream nahi hai.
No, I think even today we have a lot of supply chain issues. I don't think every customer of ours finds everything they want in our stores, and we lose a lot of sale because of that. We are trying to improve ourselves and make ourselves better. We had implemented SAP at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So SAP at a back-end ERP aspect has really taught us how to run the supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
So we stock what sells, we stock adequate number of pieces, we have a weekly replenishment module so that we don't run out of stocks. It helps us to at least reduce it. I mean, before previously, I remember in our old ERP, we didn't have stock information properly. The fast-moving colors wouldn't go every week. So, with better systems, that's it.
Now tell me, how important is all this, like stock out levels, you know, how do you measure it, and how important is all this in making sure that your brand has a certain strength and, you know, identity with the customer? You're saying that lady comes, she doesn't get the choices she has, she feels upset.
See, I think we are more of a tech company from that perspective.
How exactly?
See, because of our strong software, we analyze every sale, what happens in every outlet. And we know what are the X number of pieces per SKU we sell. So on that basis, we decide, okay, what we have to keep at an outlet and what we have to keep at the warehouse. And what is going to be in transit over the week. So it basically works backward from what you sell.
So how many SKUs would you have?
We have about close to 4,000, 5,000 SKUs.
So 4,000, 5,000 SKUs in various assorted types of neckwear, all for women.
Yeah.
And people still say, I am not able to find anything to wear. Huh?
No, it's still, we haven't reached the efficiency yet. I mean, even
So what would your stock out level be? Would you be able to service 90%?
If I was serving 90%, I would be the happiest person. We're nowhere close to that. A lot of our customers on Saturday, Sunday don't find what they want.
So it's a long way to go still.
Yeah, so most of our store managers complain कि माल तो आता ही नहीं है बस. That is what they say. We're trying to improve and make sure that.
But would you say that, you know, because a lot of this is the unsexy stuff of running a retail operation, which people don't see. People when they see a brand just imagine the front end, you know, the glitzy celebrity, the Nirav Modi type Priyanka Chopra and all flashing her Jonases and all that. But at the back end is really where the hard work happens, right? So what exactly does it take for you in terms of people, in terms of, you know, you mentioned SAP, but what really does it take for you to make sure that this works very well? And how much of your working capital at any time is locked up in inventory at all levels?
See, from controlling an EBO perspective, see that's a boring job, I would call it. There's no rocket science in it, but it's a boring job. But if your store is doing well, your product is selling, then you don't mind doing that boring job. So you get people to do it. It's not difficult, but it is because it's boring, it gets difficult. So that part, if people tend to do it, if your sales are good and your product is clicking, the other part, the tail is easy to do.
Now for you, the challenge, you know, because it's such a cash intensive business. Okay, online is happening, that's reduced the intensity of cash.
The proliferation is something that we cannot control in the food industry at all, right? A brand like Subway, which has sophisticated systems to control, which can match cash to stock to sale, even there is filtrage about 10 to 15%. It is not in single digit in Subway, right? So that's huge. So we are only working to reduce the pull rate that happens in the store, right? There is constant monitoring, there is a constant CCTV monitoring that happens. There's a team that only monitors CCTV monitoring. We monitor the CCTV to see if the guy is getting the cash, punching the bill, giving the bill to the customer. We have a board in the store which says if you don't get your bill, call and get 500. And they call me, my number is there, right? So they call and tell me that, sir, I took up a chai and I did not get the bill. So we go to CCTV, we have to respond to the customer, right? We go to check the CCTV footage, we check if he got the bill or not. The customer will coolly pay and he will not take the bill and walk away, right? Majority of the college students, school students, they don't take the bill and they just walk away. They look at somewhere, take the tea and go away and go out and call me. I took the chai, they didn't give me 500. So I'll have to talk to him politely and tell him the bill is there, you can go and take it any time, it was stamped at this time and all of that. So there are constant ways to monitor, to avoid fake, but still happen. There are a lot of customers, regular customers who would come, even before they come in, the guy would clearly figure out this customer is going to order this much and this chai. So that chai would automatically go to the customer. The customer would just throw away 20 rupees or 35 or 50 on the counter and they'll just walk away. He'll not expect the bill. So in those scenarios, it becomes difficult. Meaning we cannot pinpoint that why you didn't give the bill to the customer because the customer didn't even wait for the bill. So all of this happened. So we can only control it to an extent through monitoring and audits. There is a surprise cash audit that happens. Anybody who walks into the store cannot have cash in their pocket beyond 50 rupees. So when they go out, they cannot have beyond 50. All of this we have, but still there are people who try to flick. we try to keep it at a minimum.
Now, one of the things for both of you is, they always tell this retail business, the three factors for success are location, location and location. So how exactly have I found our members like Pratik or Specs Makers have a separate team just in terms of identifying locations. How important is this location factor and what exactly does a Chai Kings do? And then I'll ask you, Gautam, how exactly do you choose a location? What tells you that, hey, this is the best place?
See, we only go by the instincts. Right? We have a big checklist on location identification. We check which should not be a one-way road, the frontage should be this much. In spite of all that, you get a feel about the place, right? Nelson Manikam Road is a no for us, right? There are certain areas in Chennai which we'll never do because we've seen brands not doing well. They have a good shop in Nelson Manikam Road, by the way. So we usually go by the gut feel. We know the market kind of. We've been in Chennai. We know which road will click, which road will not, where people can park, where people don't even try to stop. There should be a foot joint kind of an area where we have to set up shops and all of that. So we go by that mostly, but location determines the business, right? Your cost of investment depends on the location, business potential, customer turnout. Everything is on the location.
Now, in your case, you've now gone to close to 100 cities. That must be a huge challenge because you can't go around yourself now, 300 plus crores, multiple things to do. How exactly do you decide that, look, which location works? How do you decide which locations to close, outlets to close? How does it happen?
See, I think it's the most important factor in selling is the location. So I still travel to finalize the location because if I make a mistake on a location, on the gut feeling of my person, I lose 40 lakhs. So if I can take out one day to go and select that location and I can save 40 lakhs, it's worth it.
That's the upfront investment that you have to make on one outlet.
Yeah. On an average. Yeah.
Of course,
So-
for a tea kadai, it's different.
So location selection is a very, very critical factor because for us the business expansion happens with same store sales growth and new stores. So we are working on the same store sales growth, but new stores we have to be very careful. So last year we added about 150 stores we added last financial year. We added about 150 stores and probably I would have visited close to about 70 stores out of the 150. Almost half while finding it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that growing a brand-oriented retail business is a lot of hard work.
So location selection is a very, very critical thing, and how we select a location, it's a combination of instinct, like what he said, and we also have certain parameters, like we would like to be where our customer is. So a Viva customer is our customer, a Reliance customer is our customer, a W customer is our customer. So we know who our customer is. So we go where our customer is. So we opened in places where there's no retail and it's done really well for us because our customer resides in that place.
40 lakhs, man, that's quite a lot of money. And for you, it's about 15 to 20 lakhs. But still, for a tea shop, that's a huge investment, right? Now, one of the other things I wanted to ask you is, in your case, there's really no competition, though now some fellows have started coming. There's a lot of unorganized sector. How did you really start to make people believe that even something like leggings and jeggings, etc., the brand becomes so vital that they look at you and nobody else? How did you create, apart from the physical store, what else did you use, online and offline?
No, I think the minute we started selling well, we were being noticed. And I think the market is very big. I think competition comes is very good for humans. I think there's enough validation in the market that what a Go Colors is doing is good because there are other people also doing it. That also kind of adds valuation or value to the entire bottom wear market itself when you have a good number of players. So competition is healthy. And I think the time when competition started coming is when we started becoming successful and we started selling. Competition saw that it's a good place to be in and they went in.
But I'm talking about how did you build your brand apart from the stores? What did you do online? What did you do?
We didn't do
offline?
anything online.
Nothing.
No, we didn't do anything.
No customer engagement.
We saved money and we didn't spend anything on
I think now.
that. Yeah, because the problem is the cost of customer acquisition online is very, very vague.
Very
Vague.
vague.
You can't quantify it. I think there are n number of people doing this, I'm not saying it is not successful, but you need to do it really right for it to work for you. And we were not able to crack it, so we stayed away and we didn't want to waste our money.
And what about offline? Doing something in print, doing events, doing something else?
To be very honest with you, when we were adding the kiosk, we didn't have the money.
So the bottom line you're saying is you can build a 300 crore business.
Keep it tight.
Purely by having stores, without doing online, without doing print, without doing television. Very, very contraindicative, compared to what we generally hear in many other places. It's a very, very interesting story. In your case, what really happened?
It's a similar story. We didn't spend much on marketing online and offline as well. Any new store we do basic guerrilla marketing to let the neighborhood know that we have come up in that area. Apart from that, we've not done much in terms of offline and online as well. We have a Facebook page, we promote very little on that. Initially we decided what should we promote, and should we promote the product, should we promote the price point, should we promote the ambience. Then we decided it's very difficult to promote everything, so we decided we'll promote only the brand name, which is kind of gives the brand recall. If they see Chai Kings online and if they see a store on the road, they should be able to relate, and with the ambience we should be able to pull people in. That was the idea we decided. We don't know if it worked or not, but that is what we decided, and we're only promoting the brand name. And we recently off late we started doing events. Some of them are for free and some of them are for sponsorship. So that is kind of generating a little bit of walk into the nearby stores. We again can't quantify, like Gautam said, but that is the only way of marketing that we're doing right now.
Almost give it up for Gautam and in these tech-filled days, with all kinds of talk about AI, ML, IoT, and sensors and this and that, it's very refreshing to come down to earth and have a cup of tea and look at things bottom up. So I think both these gentlemen have given us a very good insight into how you can actually build a profitable, growing niche business, because both these are really niche businesses. So what it tells all of us is there's a lot of money to be made in what seems to be businesses all around us every day. Just to give you an idea, if the numbers are right, you can tell me the current numbers, but a year and a half ago, the Indian ethnic women's wear market was about 42,000 plus crores according to Technopack. He's only 300 crores of one part of that market. So he's like less than 1% of a 2-year-old figure, which is why he's saying 300 crores is nothing. And I appreciate him for that, because 300 crores really for a country of this size is nothing. The second thing it tells you is that Indian entrepreneurs don't have to be really very worried about a foreign company. And I can give you a number of examples that I have. For example, here I have a list. You take beer, company like Bira is a pretty nice growing brand. There are domestic boutique gins which are coming out. Paul John, Amrut have done reasonably well in single malt in whiskey. And I can tell you through personal experience that they are indeed fine whiskies, And you have other things like juice, you have Paperboard, excellent brand. You have Wonder Chef. I don't know how many people know that Wonder Chef does about 180 crores and the last valuation was 720 crores. Who would imagine that Sanjeev Kapoor, a chef, would create a company that is valued at so much? Okay. You also have men's grooming. Quite a few companies who are into, like Beardo was acquired by, was it Lever or somebody has acquired Beardo, a little male grooming kind of a company. In tea, you have fellows like Tea Box, which have come out with specialty teas from out of Calcutta. In food, Epigamia is the success in Greek yummy yogurt. Made, Nestle also come out with its own yogurt. So the short story, the short point I'm making is there's a fantastic opportunity in branded consumer India-facing businesses, and these two gentlemen here are examples of that trend. So once again, give it up for them. And the idea behind this is to explain to entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs, boss, there's somebody who's cracked something, so let's learn from those guys. They're still work in process, they're still, evolving, but there's a lot of things that we can keep learning from fellows like you. Thank you so much.